want to here. No judgment. I mean, outwardly. Inwardly, a lot of judgment.
We just want to make it public.
Dude, you can't cuss.
Let it out right now.
We're rolling.
Oh,
I
didn't know we started.
There's music playing right now. People are listening right now. Where to go? And we're starting in.
Welcome back to the Fish Lyfe podcast. Your right, my left, Billy Lawson, your Lake Fork guide, and our guest
Our
tonight.
lost soldier. Long lost soul. Way back in the day, in the Fish Lyfe podcast 1.0, the very first one.
He's the very first guest.
The very first episode.
That's right.
Was the man to my left, Mr. Austin Fowler, who used to be a guide on Lake Fork. His dad used to be a guide on Lake Fork. He's fished his whole life. Collegiate fisherman in the tournament ranks. And now he's just my neighbor.
That's all we are now.
I mean, to me, I think you got promoted to being my neighbor. That's a pretty big deal.
That means we're to the next step of our relationship. Although I'm pretty sure we hung out more when we weren't neighbors.
We did hang out more before we were neighbors. That's true. That is true. And
I just look outside now and be like, Billy's going fishing. Screw you, man.
Yeah.
I'm jealous.
He sees my boat leave in the morning as he's getting ready to go to work. He's like, I hate that guy.
I think that's the move, though. Like, whenever you see somebody going fishing and you're not going fishing, you're like, I don't even like that guy.
I don't
Or
like
there
this
was
guy.
days, it was like 5 o'clock in the morning, I'd be going to work, and I was behind you, and you're like literally headed to the lake.
Yeah.
I'm going to work.
It's depressing.
The real world, and like I could have been fishing.
I hate driving away from my boat every day, but I got to do it.
It is part of the real world. Man, we are back this week. Just a normal podcast, nothing special to talk about. We're kind of, tournament season has started. We're going to talk about a little tournament stuff. We're in a little bit of that limbo mode as far as the fishing goes. Like we're in that pre-spawn, but we're getting some of those late cold fronts, and it's kind of
Heavy rain.
right day it's right, and wrong day it's wrong right now. So we're kind of back and forth.
Yeah.
What are we going to talk about tonight?
Man, I want to I want to break down some of these tournaments. So, first off, before we get to that, Austin, I got a couple questions for you.
Oh, we got to give him our guest questions.
That's right.
Listen, folks, this is totally unscripted right now. Like we said, Austin is my next door neighbor. Me and Chris were walking out here to the Big Bass Dojo that is my garage.
10 minutes ago.
10 minutes ago, and we see Austin pulling into his driveway, getting out of his truck, and we call him and say, hey, man, you want to be on the podcast? Here he is. He's on the podcast. So, you don't know this, but since you have been around the last time, we now have 2 questions we ask every guest on the show.
Should have done my homework.
You should have done. You need to hold on for these. These are rough questions. Go ahead, Chris. Hit them with them.
The first one is Biggie or Tupac.
Biggie.
That's our second Biggie. Him and Kelly Jordan are the
We had a
only
streak
two.
of Tupacs. It was nothing but Tupacs out the gate. Now we've had 2 Biggies in a row, which you have in common with Kelly Jordan. So that's good.
That's something good.
And you are basically, it's like we got Jordan Lee sitting next to me.
Right.
We should have, you know what, scratch that.
always say
Podcast,
that.
tonight's podcast featuring Jordan Lee.
Yeah.
For the folks only listening on the audio, you don't know, but Jordan Lee's doppelganger is right here to my left.
It's a good compliment. It's the best compliment I ever get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're like the fat Jordan Lee. Like Jordan Lee's real
Fat?
skinny. You're not, but Jordan Lee's super skinny.
He's just taller. It blends in well.
Yeah, that married life's been treating that belly pretty good, old son. I can see that. You're going to catch
Yeah.
up to me one of these days. Keep working on it.
It's only been a few months, maybe a few years.
Yeah, that's right. Question 2.
So if you could bring back a hairstyle, what hairstyle would you bring back?
A mullet, hands down.
I mean, it's
Yeah, that's a pretty common answer.
yeah.
One answer not so common, the other
But
answer common.
like the Seth Fighter mullet or like
John Daly.
No, like Joe Dirt.
Joe Dirt.
yeah.
Joe Dirte.
Yeah.
Now, do you shave it like that, or does it just grow in all patchy like?
I don't really know what you're saying, but that's what's going on. You mean to tell me
And
you ain't got no Buzz
do
Buttles,
you have
Snicker
to
Bombs,
have-
Church Burners, Finger Blasters,
Do you
Ninja
have to have a
Daisies?
stash with it too? Because I've never seen a mullet without the stash.
See, I like the mullet with just the stash. Like that.
Yeah.
That is the full effect. Like
Seth Fighter.
Like, hey, I'm here to party. Like
I got to stop us for a second. I'm really proud of us tonight because this is a new all-time record for going off the rails. We've had a bromance reference, a Joe Dirt quote-a-thon.
hey, man, Yeah, you don't want to mess with me.
Like we are known for going off the rails. Usually it's towards the end. Now we've gone completely off the rails in the first 10 minutes of this podcast.
Oh, dude, I can do the fireworks scene in Joe Dirt unscripted on the spot. I can do Forrest Gump whenever Bubba Gump's talking about all different kinds of shrimp. I can do all those are two movies you don't mess with me.
We're having probably a little bit too much fun. We're having a good time tonight. Chris, rein us back in, man. Put us back on top of here.
So, little MLF update. So, the Cup Series, Jeff Sprague.
Local fella,
Jeff
Lake
Sprague.
Fork man, Jeff Sprague from the MLF. Now, this is not the tour.
No, this is the...
But the Summit Cup or whatever it's
It
called.
was the
Cup.
Challenge Cup.
The OG MLF deal
That's right.
was a TV show for a long time. Jeff Sprague just won the latest season of that. So, congrats to our local boy from Edgewood, Texas.
And then
Jeff Sprague.
On the BPT side, Jacob Wheeler, look, he didn't just win
He didn't just win.
He left everybody, he passed them like they were in park.
Beat him down.
And he was throwing a 1-out spinner bait.
Yeah.
Over brush piles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, getting it.
Just banging them.
Getting it.
Dude.
What was the how far? Wait.
24 bass
Okay,
for 68 pounds.
So tell us Wheeler scored, and then tell us the second place guy, because that's like a big game. You got that?
Yeah, I got it. So, Wheeler, I just had it.
Oh, he lost it, folks.
I just had it.
Off the rails, number 2. Here we go.
I think it was like 62 to 34.
It was. Jacob Wheeler finished first with 68 pounds, 24 bass. That's,
Not bad.
no, yeah. Second place was Thrifty. Imagine that for 40 pounds, 11 ounces. So
he was 20.
And that's his first. This is his first tournament. That's his first MLF tournament.
correct.
28 pounds is what he won by.
Yeah,
That is out of control, son. That's insane.
that's getting.
I watched it live too for the first couple hours, and Wheeler was nowhere in the mix. It was Art Defoe's show for a long time, and then I got busy and I quit watching it. And the next thing I know, Wheeler wins and Thrifts in second.
But what's crazy was I'm glad that they did the variable minimum like they did it because Art Defoe caught 10 fish in the championship round for 34 pounds.
And what
I can get behind that.
That whole week they kept saying, we're gonna let you fall. It's the bass capital of the world. And I was so offended.
Yeah.
I was legitimately offended. I was like, these people not know that Lake Fork is a bass capital of the world.
Lake Fork's the trophy bass capital of the world.
Okay, that's facts. Because I was literally so mad. Like I almost left a comment everywhere. I was like, Lake Fork is a bass capital, but the numbers they put up were Lake Fork numbers. Jordan Lee.
Well, we're gonna find out.
Jordan Lee had 5 fish for 32 pounds, didn't he?
He did have a 30-pound bag, but we're gonna find out because guess where they're coming here pretty soon.
Yes.
That's coming up, and we are all wound up about that. Guarantee
And that's
you.
in March, ain't it?
It's mid-March.
Mid-March.
Like March 16th or something like that. Hey, I'll bet you this, though, because I know Thrift did real good in his elimination rounds or whatever in that tour event.
Yeah.
I'll bet you there was a bunch of guys roaming around the MLF wondering who in the hell invited Brian Thrift to this party.
Hey, man.
Because he showed up and just ran out on him right off the bat,
and
dude.
wherever he fishes, I mean, he wins.
Doesn't matter.
He does
Doesn't matter.
so well.
Jacob Wheeler
everywhere he
is the
goes.
same way, and Brian Thrift's the same
Jacob
way.
Wheeler.
It doesn't matter what tour they're on, what level they're on. From their beginnings, they've been dominant. I mean, dominant.
So the qualifying round, Brian Thrift catches 34 pounds on day 2.
Yeah, just on day 2.
Just on day 2.
Yeah, he's unbelievable.
Come on, dude.
That's what I mean. They were wondering who
And
let
that was
this
on
guy
10
in.
fish. So I do like the direction that it's going as far as making them target bigger fish. And I think,
We're gonna find out when they get to Lake Fork because there's gonna be some guys that can target some bigger fish on Lake Fork. It ought to be interesting to see how that unfolds.
And you can catch on Lake Fork too. And like most lakes, you can catch 5-6 pounders every cast for 30 minutes.
Well,
you can catch
if
that
you hit
many
it right.
fish.
Oh, yeah.
You have to get them fired up, but you can catch a lot of fish and they all be good size.
You'll know the deal I'm talking about here, Austin, because you got it on Fork for a while and you grew up fishing there your whole life, so you'll know well what I'm talking about here. But I got to say that March deal might be real crazy because, it all depends on what we get rain and weather-wise and how all that works out. It can affect the tournament one way or the other. So, we need the weather to play ball with us a little bit for the fireworks to really go off. But already, right now, there's big fish starting to set up on these really shallow wind-blown points with the loons diving on them. And, dude, those guys are so good, and those loons are still going to be there in mid-March. Like, if it's that easy for them to find it because the loons are telling on them and all that,
it's about to be.
they're going to capitalize on every shallow point on that lake, and it's going to be lights freaking out unless something drastic happens weather-wise.
Mm-hmm.
The fish are already getting on that obvious stuff, And if those fish are doing the obvious thing when these guys get there, bro, all of them are going to get caught. Every one of them.
I just want to know the guys that go bed fishing in mid-March, how, and if, like I said, depending on the weather.
They're not. If that shallow point deal is going off and you're fishing against guys at that level and you're counting every fish, one thing about sight fishing is it takes time.
Right. That's what I was getting at.
Yeah, if you're sight fishing in that event,
And
you're not going to win.
Them fish on Lake Fork are the smartest fish in the state.
But I will say too, you might have a situation to where somebody's kind of pulling away with it, and somebody maybe goes and maybe spends a little bit extra time on a fish just to kind of bridge that gap. You might see some of that.
Yeah, I just don't.
I don't see the guy winning it doing bed fishing.
Not primarily. Maybe to catch one kicker to try to make up some ground or something.
That's what
maybe.
I'm saying, yeah.
But the problem with that is on those shallow points, you can roll up on a 10-pounder, 8-pounder. That's not a little fish pattern. The biggest fish in the lake are rolling up on them shallow points eating gizzard shed that time of year.
Yep.
And so if that's going down, you don't have time to go sight fish. You need to catch more than one of those big fish. That's what's going to be crazy is if Lake Fork, if they hit it the way that it can be hit at that time of year, it's not going to be about catching a 10-pounder to catch up. It's going to be about how many 7 to 9 pounders can you catch, and it's going to be a lot.
It's definitely set up to be a freaking 4th of July fireworks show.
Oh, it's going to go down.
Yeah.
Unless something really weird happens with the weather, it's going to.
We just got a lot of rain,
that's the other thing about sight fishing.
If this just happened, the week of that tournament.
Yeah, that would affect some things. That would affect some things. But the other thing is too on the sight fishing deal, that water is so dirty right now from this flood we just got. It's not going to be clear by the middle of March. That's only a month away, guys.
Yeah.
It's a little less than a month away when they start fishing out there right now. And today is February 16th when we're recording this, February 16th. That's less than a month away when they start fishing. The lake is not going to be cleaned up. And where the fish are spawning in early mid-March is the northern end of the lakes, which are the dirtiest part of the lake right now. Like sight fishing I don't think it's even going to come into play at all in that event. I really don't.
Yeah, I can I can agree with you. The only way I would see it even being a factor is somebody trying to play catch up a little bit.
I think you can catch check for sure.
I just think with everybody having to count every fish, it takes sight fishing. If it was a best 5 deal, 100% sight fishing is in the ballpark. It's in the game, no doubt. But with everybody counting every fish, you just can't catch those bed fish near as fast as you can those others.
All right, let me go this direction then. If y'all had to pick somebody to win that event right now, who would you pick? That's a tough one. that feels so good. Like it's just, it's hard to. I'm honestly.
I'm gonna throw a name out there, and this is not my pick, but this is a guy that I would definitely. I would need to think about it a little bit before I made like a sure enough pick. But one name that does pop into my mind because he understands that shallow point deal real well, and he knows Lake Fork really well, is Takahiro.
Yeah.
Takahiro has won an Elite Series event on a shallow shell bed point type of situation on Wheeler Lake.
And he's done
on the Elite
very well
Series.
in MLF.
And he understands the reason he won that tournament on Wheeler Lake is because of the same shallow point shell bed deal that happens on Lake Fork.
Yep.
So he understands it. And it's his home body water. He lives here in Emory. So, Takahiro, if that deal is going down, he's going to maybe have some milk runs already made up where he ain't got a pre-fish, and he can expand on the pattern more so than other guys who are discovering the pattern, and that may give him an advantage. Takahiro would be a good one to pick, in my opinion.
I don't think you can throw Kelly Jordan out of the mix either, just because.
Yeah. The deal with Kelly, though, that I wonder, and listen, we just had Kelly on the podcast last week, and, man, that was unbelievable. He is one of my favorite people I've ever talked to in my life. He's one of my favorite fishermen of all time, too. Mm-hmm. I hope he does really good. The one thing that I would say about Kelly and Lake Fork is it's been a long time since Kelly's called Lake Fork home.
Right.
It's always been his home and always will be his home. Mm-hmm. But as far as him fishing it every day, all the time, him running guide trips, stuff like that, it's been a lot of years. And Lake Fork has changed and matured a lot. The grass is not on the main lake. When Kelly was here, there was grass all over the lake.
Yeah.
When he was fishing it every day, there was grass all over the main lake everywhere you went. Now it's not. Takahiro still runs guide trips out here every year. He still fishes out here all the time. So to me, Tak's got a little bit more home cooking advantage than Kelly does just because of that gap in time of when he's fished it on an everyday type of scenario.
I'm going to throw this out there, and you can take it to the bank, and if it happens, great. But watch out for Dustin Connell.
Why are you saying
Dustin Connell?
Dustin Connell catch him.
What's your thought process behind that?
Man, I've watched him. I've watched a lot of his content throughout the last couple of years, and it just seems to me like his style of fishing is going to fit in really well for that time of year on a big
Yeah.
fish lake. And he's known for catching them on big fish lakes.
Well, I'll tell you another one that might come into play because so much can change with the weather. Right now, the lake is flooded. It's literally over full pool. And that, it was down most of the fall, summer, and all that, a couple feet. Well, we got a lot of flooded cover in the lake. That water warms up. If we get a lot of warming between now and March 16th, okay, and that shallow flipping, covering water, I'm gonna throw Chris Lane,
Yeah.
who in 2015 almost won the Toyota Texas Bass
He
Classic,
was fishing shallow.
He was all day.
and
every
he
day.
was flipping and frogging up shallow. And another name to think about, if that's the scenario, is going to be Hackney.
Yeah.
Hackney can come in there and catch them as good as anybody if you're fishing flooded cover now.
The vast majority of those guys have a lot of experience on fork from fishing the Elite Series too.
And the TTBC stuff. Well, and people just come to Lake Fork. Like Edwin Evers spends a ton of time on Lake Fork. We see him all the time out here. Dude, that's another name.
Yeah.
If you're talking about a main lake shallow point, Edwin Evers.
I
hey.
mean, Brent Ayler's another one that always seems to do really well.
The
on
thing
tour.
about that MLF is, you can love, hate, whatever the format you have. Everybody's got their opinion on it. You can't argue with that roster because we haven't even mentioned the best fisherman on earth right now, Jacob Wheeler, who just won in dominant fashion and
I'm
seems to
anxious
catch
to
him
see-
everywhere he goes.
I'm anxious to see what.
By
he
the
does
way,
on
his
fork.
TTBC experience at Fork, he did really well.
Yeah.
That's what I was about to say.
Like he didn't win, but he was up there. Like, dude, that's like.
That
You could
dude-
just keep going down the list. Another one is
I think he.
this guy right here. I mean, this guy right here that's with us tonight, Jordan
Yeah,
Lee.
Jordan Lee.
Jordan Lee won a classic on the shallow wind blowing Muddy Point. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? That was a pretty awesome deal when you won it on that shallow point there, Jordan.
It's take another tournament. It's just another win to add to the collection. It wasn't nothing.
Oh, good lord.
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
I just won it the year before. I mean, that one was cool, but the second time, just all right.
yeah, Jordan Lee, ladies and gentlemen, end the podcast. Boy, I tell you, it's a star-studded podcast these days. First we had Kelly Jordan, now we got Jordan Lee. I don't know who's going to be here next. We might have Kevin Van Doan in here next week.
I can wear disguise.
I ain't never met him, but I bought his T-shirt
And
once.
Jacob was fishing the TTVs. I remember following him around, him and John Cruz too. Which, I mean, Cruz is on the lease, but they were throwing swim baits underneath the 154 bridge.
I remember
And
that.
they were catching biggins.
Cruz got second.
They were
No.
glide baiting the
Yes.
pylons on the bridge. That one in 2946 bridge too. Yep.
Cruz just got second on the St. John's River.
St. John's River. St.
Boy,
John's River.
that was a train wreck of a freaking
Yeah.
That
tournament
was,
right there. That was bad. But the conditions were
Yeah,
obviously
the wind.
less
Yeah,
than
they got
ideal.
messed up there. That was unfortunate that the Elite Series had that. That was a curveball thrown at them at the first event. Who was it that won that event? I can't
Paul
remember.
Mueller.
Paul Mueller. That's right. Paul Mueller won it. They did catch one of them guys. I can't remember who it was. Caught a 10-pounder. I saw that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was a rookie.
Yeah.
That's really. They're all rookies. Only they say.
Well, yeah.
Well, they're all second-year guys.
Right.
No, Paul Mueller, been in the game for a long time. Certainly deserves a W, man. He's been there and done that, no doubt, no doubt.
So let's talk about BPT before. I know we were talking about Fork, but they're fixing to go to the Big O.
Are they going to Okeechobee before for it?
Mm-hmm.
Okeechobee.
That's next week.
Okeechobee's had a lot of things going on with it that are not great.
Yes.
Not great. There's been a lot of spraying going on. All I've heard is negative from Okeechobee as far as the fishing and the grass spraying and the lake's not what it used to be and this, that, and the other. I don't know. I mean, that's it's always interesting to see these guys. One thing about these guys on these tours, they especially this crew that's on the MLF tour, it doesn't really seem to matter where they go.
No, they're gonna find them.
Whatever fish are in that lake, they're going to catch way more of them than they should.
And it's hard. I mean, they got to catch them for, 4 days?
Yeah.
And with a day break in between.
2 day break.
2 day
2 day
break.
break,
A
yeah.
day between your group play and then
So
the
you got
championship.
2 days in your group, and then 2 days for the second group,
Yeah.
and then you go to the championship, and that's another 2 days.
Mm.
Yeah, it's one thing about it. It's a test now. It's a test, and you got to catch them every day.
I
There's
like-
a weight zero out.
I like how they made it that way, though. Honestly, to
Yeah.
where you have to, because maybe you have to fish tough conditions one day, great conditions next day, and then.
Yeah, you just
You-
no excuses. You got to catch them every day, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Got to catch them every day.
So I do like that definitely about that.
I think that's and as a guide, I probably appreciate that a little more than most do. But you know this. The guys that always impress me the most in the guide business are the guys who can put their customers on fish consistently.
Mm-hmm.
You know, not the guy that goes out and, oh man, he caught a 40-pound bag. That's cool, but he didn't catch 3 fish the rest of the week.
It's a lot different. Me and you going out there too and catching 40-pound bag and putting customer who.
Versus yeah, that's a factor too. But yeah, the guy that can take your customers out and consistently catch quality fish day in, day out, that impresses me more than anything in the guide business. And that's a little bit of what MLF has going on, where you fish for 2 days and then your weight goes to 0, and then you fish for a day and then your weight goes back to 0. And you fish the last day. Like, you better step up every single. You can't have a bad day.
Yep.
Before all this shake up, and I think it's kind of like back to being that way now, but before all this tournament splitting and all that, when the Elite Series was the old Elite Series, to get into the Elite Series through the Bassmaster Opens, you had to qualify through the Opens, and there was 3 open tournaments, and I don't remember how many they took out of the standings. You remember what that was? They only took like the top, who if you won AOY, or the top 2 or 3 out of each division.
Yeah,
so
it wasn't much.
It wasn't very many. Basically, you had 3 tournaments, 3 3-day tournaments. You had 9 days of fishing. 1 bad day of fishing, you're not qualified. Guaranteed. No chance. And you could have 9 good days, and if you didn't have 4 or 5 great days, you still didn't qualify.
You still had Elite Series anglers still fishing the Opens too, because
right.
they want to qualify for the Classic through the Opens, or if they didn't qualify.
Well, dude, a lot of those guys just drop down and fish them because they just are addicted to the game.
Yeah.
I mean, they still do it. There's guys on the Elite Series right now, they're still fishing the Opens. The Bassmaster Opens, we've talked about this a couple times, but the Bassmaster Opens might have the deepest talent roster of anybody outside the MLF. Yeah. That might be the second toughest trail as far as competition goes. I mean, now that you got all the FLW guys in there too, like Latimer and Scott Martin and all those guys,
and that guy named John Cox.
No, well, he's on the Elite.
I thought you were talking about the Elite.
Upshaw.
Andrew Upshaw. Dude,
Plus, you got Gerald Swindle and Paul Nick and Hackney, and all these guys are dropping down and fishing the Opens.
Right.
I saw Swindle's fishing the Big FL this weekend.
Yep.
A BFL.
Yeah.
Dude, some of these guys are just addicted to it. They just want to do it. And that's awesome.
Something I thought about the other day too is, it was a big news for Polinick and Swindle to come up from 2 Elite Series from MLF because of their AOI exemption. I wonder too if, the Classic's on Gunnersville this year. Guess where Swindle's backyard is? It's Gunnersville. And the Classic was in there 2014, I think is when it was, right after Grand Lake, I think. It was at Gunnersville. Swindle had an awful showing at Gunnersville.
He did.
I think he may finish dead last or second to last, something like that at Gunnersville. So this may be redemption.
Who
for
won
him.
that Gunnersville Classic? I'm for some reason having a hard time.
Randy Howell.
Randy Howell.
Yeah, Jordan Lee.
I just felt it come
Jordan
over
Lee
me.
fished it through the college national championship.
You know what I remember about that Classic? Is Randall Tharp losing that giant in that brush pile.
Yes.
That cost him the
That
tournament.
was Grand Lake. Was it Grand Lake?
That was Gunnersville.
That was Gunnersville. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He lost like a 10-pounder in a brush pile that cost him the tournament.
And that's why he's not with Evinrude anymore, too, I think. I think that Classic, he had motor problems with Evinrude.
He ain't the only one who had motor problems with Evinrude. Didn't your dad have a bad experience with the G2?
A lot. He had a lot of experience.
Yeah. That Evinrude's had some issues with that one.
He fished last weekend, didn't he? Mm-hmm. I'm drawing a blank now. I don't know. I saw.
Way to grind the show to a halt, Chris.
No, he was fishing a tournament and he said conditions were just terrible.
Who, my dad?
Yeah.
Rayburn.
Rayburn.
He was Rayburn yesterday.
Austin's dad is Skeeter Fowler, local guy, guided on Fort for a long time, tournament fish down at Rayburn a lot and all that. Named Skeeter Fowler, but he's always run a Ranger.
He's in a Nitro now.
Now he's in a Nitro. Please comment below and let Skeeter Fowler know how much sense it does not make to be named Skeeter and run other boats. You got to run a Skeeter if you're named Skeeter. That's just
That's my opinion.
always struck me as weird, odd, you might say.
So FLW's on Harris Chain. That starts tomorrow.
Is that going?
They just had practice, first day of practice.
First day of practice.
Today.
That's what
Well, don't start tomorrow because
I meant
it starts the end of this week.
Yeah, the practice.
When you guys are listening to this podcast, that tournament will be taking place. Is John Cox going to win again?
Probably.
Because that's his house.
Yeah.
That cat's won a lot of stuff on the Harris chain.
We keep throwing names out. We're like, Edwin Evers, he's the greatest. Now Jacob Wheeler's
John Cox is up there.
Brian Thrift. There's just so many studs that we just keep mentioning. And we're like,
John,
Every time I'm like, oh, he's the best right now. He's the best right now.
We were talking about it on Billy's live stream Thursday night, I believe. It somehow got brought up about who the best fisherman on planet Earth right now is, and people are saying Jacob Wheeler, and obviously I don't disagree, but I'm not so sure that John Cox can't be thrown in there, if I'm being honest.
No, I mean, but the deal is Wheeler's just done it longer and on a bigger stage for a longer time. You know?
Wheeler's resume, he hasn't won a classic, has he?
That's the only thing.
That's the only thing he hasn't won.
He's like the youngest guy to win a cup.
He top five.
He's the youngest guy to ever win a Forrest Wood Cup. He won a Junior All-American. He won a BFL championship. He won FLW Tour Majors. He won his first.
He won AOI. FLW, right?
First Elite Series event that he ever entered. He won. He entered a Bass Fest.
Because he entered that through the Bass Fest.
On the Tennessee River, he entered Bass Fest when he was still on the FLW Tour and won that. Yep. He's won Elite Series
and
events.
then his first tournament as an Elite Series angler, he won.
Yeah, he's won multiple Elite Series events. He's won multiple MLF events. Like, he wins at every. The only thing he hasn't won is a classic or whatever the Red Cup that they've only had one of.
Yeah, the Red Crest.
Yeah.
Red Crest.
Yeah.
That's the only thing he hasn't won. He's literally in his. Is he even 25 yet? How old is he? 27?
He's a few years older than me. He may be 28.
He might. He ain't 30. I'll put it that way.
So he's in his 20s, and he's won every title in bass fishing except the Classic.
Yeah.
That's insane. I mean, he's the Tiger Woods of bass fishing if you think about it. He's been doing it. He won the Forrest Wood Cup at 19, dude. At 19.
Can't even drink a beer and celebrate winning the Forrest Wood Cup.
I bet he did.
Yeah, well. Drop that in the comments. Do you think Jacob Wheeler had a beer?
This isn't you know what? We need to add this to our viewer questions. Did Jacob Wheeler drink a beer to celebrate his Forrest Wood Cup win at 19 years old?
Oof. I mean, yeah, you can't argue with the facts. I mean,
I don't know. What kind of beer? I mean, I'm gonna guess Keystone.
I'm gonna say that I'm gonna say that Jacob Wheeler did not drink a beer to celebrate because that is one of the dorkiest human beings.
No, if he drinks beer, he drinks craft beer.
Man, like, listen,
he drinks craft beer. He's got to.
He's got them skinny leg pants on. You know he's drinking that craft beer.
Oh, dude.
Listen, if your pants hug your calf muscles, you don't drink regular beer. You drink craft beer.
You drink New Belgian Fat Tire. There's no doubt about it.
This is true. Yeah. Jeans tied around the calves do not equal Keystone Light.
No, absolutely. He don't.
Camouflage shorts, on the other hand.
He don't know what a Keystone Light tastes like.
Camouflage croc. Where's your other croc at?
I don't know. That might be the dog whooping croc right there when that dog gets out of hand. Everybody sees Bailey sometimes. Like last time she was on the video poking her head up, she's been okay. I'm like, man, your dog's so well behaved. I'm like,
You don't know Bailey.
You don't know. There's a reason. It's because that shoe's sitting right there. She gets out of line in here. She knows.
Mm-hmm. You wouldn't let her walk into an antique shop. I tell you that much.
Yeah, the bull in the china shop saying will be replaced by Bailey in a china shop.
That's right.
That dog's tail alone will take out half the deal.
So back to the Gunnersville Classics at Gunnersville. You know how many MLF guys are wishing they were on the Elite Series? I mean, obviously they had a choice too, but like Ott Defoe, who automatically had a berth into the Classic,
isn't going to fish it
because he didn't fish the Elite Series this year, and you had to fish the Elite Series in order for that to still be in effect. But I mean, hometown people, the Lee brothers, Gunnersville is their home. Randy Howe, who's already won a Classic on Gunnersville.
Boyd Duckett, home guy.
I mean, who else am I missing? I'm
A
sure there's
bunch.
more. I know.
Well, is Swindle fishing this Classic? I don't think he's qualified.
You may be right because he
didn't fish the Elite
fished
Series
the
last
Elite
year.
Series
Yeah,
year.
because I don't think Palnick can fish it either. Yeah.
But that's gonna suck to look at that.
That's gonna break Gerald Swindle's heart.
Oh yeah, can you imagine?
He's an emotional guy anyway. You know, he's.
Can you
real
imagine
emotional.
just being there and like they're fishing Bassmaster Classic on your home lake from your camp?
I'll tell you now. Listen,
will be watching that Classic.
We
I
talked
assure you.
We talked to Kelly last week, and he turned me around on the format deal. I'm in. I'm good with the format. I'm fine with it. Listen, I'm fine with best five too, but I'm totally fine with the every fish counts, especially the way they're raising the minimum and trying to focus on. He raised some really good points that proved to me that yes, counting every fish can be, in a lot of scenarios, the truest test of how good your day was. Yep. It can be. That being said, there still are some things with MLF that are like, what are y'all doing? One of them is the Classic, and the Expo at the Classic is one of the biggest opportunities for businesses in the fishing industry to get exposure. And as a professional tournament level, tour level fisherman, one of your biggest ways to generate income is to promote and help sell product for companies that will then compensate you in other ways, because the tournament prize money just doesn't pay all the bills all the time. There are a ton of guys that are refusing, MLF tour level anglers, MLF tour anglers, refusing to go to the expo at the Classic with their sponsors because of the,
Because it's bad.
call it what you want. They can deny it all they want to. There's a lot of rivalry and things being done out of spite between MLF and BASS. And they are literally not going to the Classic Expo because of the rivalry and the spite and the hatred that's going on between the two organizations.
Yeah, I mean, you can just look at the scheduling and see that.
Here's the problem with this. That is bad for everybody involved. That's bad for the company that's sponsoring the angler. That's bad for the angler that's getting sponsored by that company that they're not taking care of. It's bad for the fans that don't get to see their favorite fishermen. It's bad for it's bad for the sport. It's bad for both organizations. All this, like, it's okay to have competitive rivalry, but to have hatred-filled rivalry is bad for everybody involved.
Because here's the deal. Like, let me ask you one question, and I already know what the answer is. For you to be a tournament angler, what is every tour angler's dream?
Well, to win the Classic. Yeah, originally, yeah.
And
Which,
that's-
listen, I understand what, to play devil's advocate here, I understand what MLF Bass Pro Tour is doing.
Yeah.
They're trying to create the new biggest tour, and they have in a lot of ways because of the names that they carried with them.
Right.
And they're trying to make the Red Crest the new Classic.
Yeah.
I get it. That's their championship. That's what they should be trying to do. No problem with that.
Right.
But to sit there and act like Bass is evil, and then Bass is acting like you're evil, and have this to where fans can't even be fans. Like, you have to pick. It's almost like you're asking the fans to pick. I don't need to pick a side.
Yeah.
I'm going to call it like I see it and give my honest opinion, because I have created a platform where I have a little tiny voice in this market. My deal is very small on this channel, but I do get to voice my opinion on the platform I've built. So I'll tell you my honest opinion on it. It doesn't mean I'm not dude. I'm a fan of both.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm
Like, you don't get to make me choose MLF. And I'm gonna tell you the dang shame of it is that MLF has this roster, which I've widely said is the best roster of fishing talent that's ever been assembled, ever, in the history of our
100%.
sport. I'm 100% in on their roster. I'm okay with their format now. Their TV show is okay. It needs some work, but it's okay. I'm all in on MLF. And the one thing that they're doing wrong is how they're operating from a place of hatred and spite and doing things motivated by the wrong reasons. And it's just about to make me not want to watch it, because I don't like it. I don't think anybody likes what's going on in the sport.
No.
There's nobody that's sitting there going, yeah, this is great, man. I love it when these two tournaments are getting after each other. It's stupid. Put your product out there, okay? The true fans of the sport that love everything bass fishing will watch both.
Mm-hmm.
And then whoever is the best will get all the other guys that are part-time fans.
I mean, it's like we said before, we're still going to watch it. Like,
We are still going to watch it. We are.
Yeah.
The deal is, this battle is not for us.
right.
They've got us. But this battle might cost somebody us. And right now, that somebody it's going to cost is MLF, because of the way they're behaving. That's true, man. I mean, listen, I love Kelly. I wish we would have dug into this when he was here. I didn't think about it. I got so enthralled in the conversation with Kelly Jordan and talking about the tournament aspects of it, which was a great conversation. And we talked to him for so long. I wish we would have got into this with him. I wouldn't have shied away from it with him. It wasn't that. I just, this, I don't know. I'm just kind of rambling now, but I'm saying it over and over again, I guess. But the way that they are coming at things, in my personal opinion, from the wrong place, doing things just to spite bass, doing things just to try and take down, it's like they're trying to destroy BASS. That's not good.
No.
It's not a good thing. I don't want to see BASS go away.
They won't.
And no matter how big,
And I don't think they can. I
yeah,
don't
they
think
can't. No matter how big it ever gets, it'll never happen.
I don't think so. But that's beside the point.
Right.
It's the fact that they're doing it with that purpose in mind. I've talked about this before with the guide building. You know my story. You know all the heck that I went through building the guide business I built. The problem is, everybody in a business, so MLF wants to have the biggest building on the bass fishing tournament level street. So does BASS. Well, the problem is, I wanted to have the biggest guy business on Lake Fork. I want the biggest building on the street, like every competitive businessman does. Mm-hmm. But I wanted my business to be the biggest because I built the biggest building, not because I tore his down.
Right.
Like BASS is now listen. BASS in the past has had their flaws, but right now BASS is trying to build the bigger building because they're building the bigger building. MLF is busy trying to tear BAS's building down, and that is not good, and it's not fun to watch. And like I said. Right now, both tournaments have us. Mm-hmm. There's a whole lot of new fans out there that they're fighting over, but they have us. But if MLF keeps doing things the way they're doing, it's going to cost them some of us. And I think it already has cost them some of us, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I know people who are just as big fishermen and, of the sport, big fans of sport as what we are, that specifically don't watch MLF because of stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean...
And even on social media, you remember back a few months ago, was it Fletcher Shyrock and somebody else was going at it about the wolf pack or whatever?
Oh yeah.
I mean, just stuff like that.
You know what's crazy to me?
I'd rather what is that? I'd rather run with a pack of wolves than follow a flock of sheep
or something like that.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? Hunter is fishing BASS.
Right. His brother.
His brother.
Yeah.
Yeah. Come on, dog.
I mean, sometimes you got young guys that are a little bit brash.
I was going to go with immature, but...
And they just...
I think it was the same time that Swindle
It was the Swindle and Palaniuk. That's what...
We're going
some of those guys just, they don't have a filter, and they're just going to say things just to say things.
Yeah.
Yeah, he quickly deleted that post, but...
But it went viral.
It went viral.
It did.
Yeah.
Because I remember reading it going...
Ask Ronnie Kelly about that one time. He was go all in.
Oh yeah. Whatever, dude. Just go fish. Go fish where you want to fish and leave everybody else alone.
So where do you see the industry in MLF, Bass, FLW in 5 years? What's it going to be like in 5 years? Because how long do those guys have before they have to requalify for the MLF?
Well, they've got this year, next year.
And that's why the MLF bought FLW, ain't it? Is because that's the qualifying platform now.
Well, no, they haven't announced anything yet, but the room, I mean, what everybody is assuming, what everybody is thinking is going to happen, and the rumor is that FLW will serve as a qualifying tour to
I think they have made that official, haven't they?
No.
I thought I've seen something that says that.
They've said that it would be, but not in an official capacity, and they haven't given any specifics on how you have to qualify into the MLF. I'm thinking at the beginning of next year, they will, like in between this off season coming up, whenever this season ends, they'll make that announcement because the people fishing the FLW Tour next year, 2021, will be competing for a qualifying spot in 2022 BPT, which is when everybody's contract expires.
So I wonder if at that point, let's say Mike Iaconello, just for example, don't qualify against MLF. He has an exemption to go over to BASS.
Let me just solve that problem for you too. Iaconello be gone probably after this year.
Yeah.
When it doesn't cost them quite as much to get out.
Yep.
Because you know what they did with Swindle and Palaniuk, right? I know you've been in the working world, not as much in the fishing world.
What?
They had to pay $50,000 to leave.
To break that contract?
Yes. Mm-hmm. They had to pay $25,000 per year that they were leaving out on. So they had 2 more years on their contract. They paid $25,000 per. So Iaconello can leave. So there's going to be more guys.
There's going to be a lot of guys.
There's going to be more guys this year on the BPT Tour that only have to pay $25,000 that are going to bounce. Unless everything goes better this year and everybody's happy. We'll see.
But that's what sucks, though. That's what I would love to see them have to requalify for the lease, but they have that exemption if you want an AOY or a classic, the legendary exemption to where you just don't have to come back in.
Yeah.
So
if they had to requalify, they'd never leave BPT. Why would they? They won't leave one top level two.
Can I voice my opinion on something?
Of course. It's hard around here because we just get to talking over here. And they were like, we don't even need this guy.
No. Talking about MLF, and this is just me, okay, so maybe some of y'all agree with me. If Iaconello is fishing on an MLF, whatever episode I'm watching, if Iaconello's on it, I will turn that stuff off. Yeah, I will turn it off.
I mute it every time you hook one.
I get so tired.
Well, that's why I watch it. I watch it just to
my gosh.
It's a big.
Every time he leans on one, the freaking giant, 1 pound, 2 ounces, Mike. Oh my God.
So I got to tell you, I gotta
love the enthusiasm, the fire.
Yeah. I've got to give a shout out to a buddy of mine, coach B.J. Anderson from here in Van, Texas, where I live. Used to coach offensive line at Texas A&M, big-time football coach back in his day. He has 2 boys. I believe they're 9 and 13, and they have some ponds. They live on a ranch, and they have some ponds, and they fish every day. They eat up with fishing, and every night, at nighttime, they come to the living room, and they watch bass fishing. They record all the MLF events and all the bass, and they record all the fishing shows, and they watch fishing every night, every single night. And they get to watching that MLF Cup or whatever, or Bass Pro Tour, and every time they have it on and Ike and Ellie's fishing, they have a game they play. And Ike and Ellie will hook one, and he'll go to screaming, and BJ will hit mute, and then the boys take turns guessing how much it's going to weigh.
That's funny.
It'll be like a 1.7, 2.2.
Dude, you think about it, man. We might have just invented a drinking game.
That's what I was just thinking about.
Fire it up at a party, like next New Year's Eve party. We're gonna fire up an MLF event with Ike and Ellie in there, and every time he says it's a giant, you got to take a shot. You'll be drunk before the show's over.
You said drinking game, I'm in.
Oh, God.
We need to
or how many laps he does across the boat, just going from the front deck to the back deck, back to the front deck, around the boat.
I would hate to be one of his marshals. He steps all over them jokers. And,
dude, every time we hook the fish, I just open the main storage compartment and climb in.
Yeah, I gotta go.
Listen, we need to film an episode. Drop it in the comments below. If you want to see us film an episode where we do a drinking game with Mike Iaconelli tournament fishing highlights.
Oh, my God. It's a big and giant. Billy, I can't drink no more.
Every time he says giant, you have to take a shot.
Oh my God, it's so funny, and like the enthusiasm, that's great. Whatever. I just
so
we all make fun of Iaconelli, but he's done a lot for the sport, and he is a very, very good, obviously very good at the highest level, very good fisherman.
Yeah. Oh, he is. He can.
And he's a good. Hey, listen. Here's the one thing about Iaconelli. It's a little bit of a misconception. People see his attitude and his temperament, and he had the flag incident back in the day, and the dog. He's had all these things where he just blows up on the water, and people think he's kind of a jerk or something. Mike Iaconelli is one of the good guys in the world of bass fishing.
100%.
One of the best people. He takes a lot of time with kids. He does a lot for charities and youth that's in need, and he is one of the best human beings in our sport. So we're picking on Iaconelli. I don't want to bash Iaconelli because, listen, it's not my cup of tea. I'm not the type of fortunately for me, I'm from an area where we boat flip 5-pounders and throw them back as fast as we can and don't think about it sometimes. But there's a lot.
He's from Delaware or New Jersey or whatever.
There's a lot of people catch 2 or 3 pounders. It's a big deal. It's kind of a big deal in the world of bass fishing. And those people identify with Iaconelli. And at the end of the day, like him or don't like him, he annoys you, you love him, whatever. He's a good dude. And he's a really good fisherman. He's one of the best we've ever seen. And he's a great, great guy that does a lot of great things. So I don't want to be a bash Iaconelli.
Yeah, me saying what I said, I didn't mean like to his character or anything.
Right. No, he's a great dude.
I just get tired of hearing it's a giant.
I know. Well, we're spoiled, though. We're so spoiled. Like, I think sometimes we all in East Texas take for granted how spoiled we are. That when we catch a 3-pounder, we're like, oh, that's a baby. And, dude, there's guys up north that are like, a 3-pounder is their kicker fish in a tournament.
How many? Yeah, I caught a 5-pound largemouth when we went smallmouth fishing in Minnesota, and I didn't think nothing about it. Like we're catching 6, 7-pound, not 7-pound, but 5, 6 pound smallmouth every cast. To me, like that's a giant too, smallmouth. I catch a 5-pound largemouth, and the guy was like, "Dude, that's a freaking giant." I was just like, "Are you serious?"
The 5-pounder.
He's like, Lake record's like 7 pounds.
So that guy from up there, that's a unicorn,
right?
Yeah.
It's like catching an 8-pounder on.
Well, how many times? And I'm sure y'all are guilty. Guilty of this too. Several times I've gone fishing and caught a couple 4 and 5-pounders on a day of fishing, and I'll be talking to my buddies, and they're like, "You catch anything big?" I'm like, "Nah, nothing real big today."
Yeah.
But like, bro.
Right.
That's.
Well, I'm a little bit older than y'all two, so I don't know how much y'all saw it. It might have kind of already been taking place as y'all were coming up, but man, I remember it's like when I was a kid, like when I was 10, 11, 12, 13 years old, first starting to fish big lakes all the time, my dad and all that. Back then, to catch a 4-pound bass was a huge deal.
Yeah.
What our Parks and Wildlife Department has done, especially in the state of Texas, but really all over, and what conservation and taking care of the fish and everything that's going on with the sport has done for the quality of the fishing. And in my lifetime, I've seen it go.
Oh, dude.
Just grow. And,
these
in the 90s, Lake Fork was kicking out giants like it was cool, but not most places didn't.
Right.
Like, if you had a tournament on a Lake Conroe, you know, a 15-pound bag was a big, even on the Bassmaster Elite Series in the 90s, a 15-pound bag was a big deal.
Yeah.
Now on the Elite Series, if you ain't got 20 pounds in most tournaments, you're not really, I mean, they go to spotted bass lakes and you got to catch 20 pounds. You know, the quality of the fishing and the fisheries is just growing so much.
They're in as good a shape as they've ever been.
We're also spoiled to that around here, that 4 or 5 pounder. But, dude, I'm telling you, when I was coming up, like, I remember the first time I saw my dad catch a 4 pounder like it was yesterday because, bro, we were freaking out. In fact, it's a funny story. Story time, squirrel, let's chase it. Funny story, when I was a kid, me and my brother, who was 4 years younger than me, and my father were fishing Lake Sam Rayburn. And my brother literally says, this was the quote he said, I remember it like it was yesterday. He goes, Dad, how come we never catch any big fish like those guys we watch on TV? And he didn't get TV out of his mouth, and my dad sets the hook, and a 4 pounder jumps, and my dad goes, you mean like that? And he reels in this 4 pounder, and we were beside ourselves, man. I was
Cueing the intro music. Here she comes, boys.
I don't know how old I was, but it wasn't very old. I was a young fella. I remember every detail of that fish jumping. I remember exactly where we were on Sam Rayburn. I remember the grass, the wood. I remember everything about that fish.
I mean, we are freaking as spoiled as any group of fishermen in the world.
No doubt. No, this is Northeast Texas.
And that's why we go somewhere else that, you know, it's not like this. We're like, this like sucks. Like, it's like ain't no grass in it. What the heck?
Yeah.
Yeah. Northeast Texas is the mecca of bass fishing. When you start really looking at how many, like, dude, you go to Lake of the Ponds, you're going to need a 30-pound bag to win a weekend tournament, Jack.
Yeah.
Like a weekend 20-boat jackpot, you might need 30 pounds.
How about Rayburn yesterday?
Oh, I know.
Yeah, Rayburn.
40 pounds?
40-pound bag at Rayburn yesterday with the local, which that's the best group of locals anywhere as far as just the weekend warriors.
No doubt about it.
Yeah.
That's the saltiest group of weekend warriors on earth, the Sam Rayburn.
Yeah.
That and Toledo Bend probably. They've got some.
Palestine will kick it. Dude, there was a high school tournament in Palestine in January. It took 30 pounds.
Yeah.
To win, like 32 or 30.
Hey, you know what's crazy? I went to Palestine yesterday, didn't get I got a couple bites, didn't boat a fish.
Dude, have you seen some of the punishment comments from the last podcast about what you're going to have to do if you lose that tournament?
No.
He's got a 2-day tournament coming with this little club he fishes with on Palestine, and he lives on Lake Palestine. So he's talking about how he's going to win it. I said, well, if you don't win it, then the viewers get to suggest punishments, and I get to pick which one you have to do.
You said, so let's back up. Let's back up. I know better than to talk trash. I didn't say I was going to win it. You said if you don't win that, we got to have a punishment because that's your pond.
That might or I'm not going to confirm or deny it.
Yeah, because I've learned in my day of tournament fishing, I best not.
Bottom line is, all I know is he agreed to, if he doesn't win that tournament.
Yes, I did agree.
The viewers get to suggest punishments, and I get to pick one.
Give me some ideas. Like what are some of the comments?
I don't know. Keep talking for a minute.
Pull them up. Yes.
I'll pull them up. Keep talking for a minute.
So Austin, what we had yesterday on Lake Palestine, give you a little lake rundown of how not to catch them. Water was 46 degrees, and it looked like a can of a jug of Quicksilver 2-stroke oil, and yeah, it wasn't fun. And the weatherman lied. Thanks, Obama. Said it was going to blow 5, maybe 10 mile an hour. No, it was blowing 15 sustained.
Mm-hmm. Me and my dad went to Burning Branch last weekend.
He called me before y'all went over there.
I was just fixing to ask you when the last time you went fishing was.
Yeah, we went. I've actually been 3 times this year already.
Come on.
3 times more than I did last year.
Setting records.
I know. We went to Burning Branch last weekend. It freaking sucked.
The conditions
The
lately.
pumping's been intermittent. Here we go. All right, I got some punishment comments. We ready?
Yeah, let's hear it.
If he doesn't win on Palestine, then he has to take a BC powder while singing "I'm a Little Teacup" on the podcast. If he loses, Chris has to wear burnt orange or neon pink with "I Love Texas Longhorns" printed across the front and back, full suit, pants, and shirt.
Who wrote that?
I want Colton Dock did, who's the guy that caught the 13-pounder on the red jerkbait.
Okay. So
He's cool, but I won't pick the Longhorn one because I hate the Longhorns too.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do that to
Yeah.
my most hated enemy.
Yeah, I couldn't do that. I'd quit the podcast.
This is a bad one. If he loses, he has to give away his favorite rod and reel setup.
To me.
To me.
I hope you're left-handed.
Oh, yeah. You can have your reel.
It's a 7.2 extra heavy Lux Series 6 cents rod with a Lose Tournament BB, whatever the BB whatever.
BB1.
BB1. Yeah, that's the juice. That is my favorite rod and reel.
I think that might be.
Have you ever
Oh! We got another one. Sorry, I'm having to sort through comments. This has got to be a disaster for the people that are trying to listen to this through the audio. If y'all are still here, you rock, because this has just been a mess tonight. You shave lightning bolts in his head if he does not top 5. Outfit jams and Hawaiian shirt and purple Crocs for no win. Pajama pants, Hawaiian shirt, and purple Crocs for no win. Or if you don't finish top 5, I get to put lightning
wear
bolts.
that in your next tournament.
See, that's what I was going. I wanted him to pick, which I don't
Here's
care.
the deal.
I'll do whatever.
Here's the deal. This is good because if you don't top 5, then I still get to do lightning bolts. If you don't win, then you get the outfit. But if you get below 5th, you get the outfit and the lightning bolts. Which I like. I like that.
When is the tournament?
March 7th and 8th.
Oh, it's in March too. Yeah.
See, what he's not telling anybody is off camera. He was talking 9 miles of trash about how he's going to dominate.
I didn't say that. I said it's Palestine in
It's
March.
probably a bunch of old people that
He's like, I'm going to
don't
win.
fish.
No, I said it's Palestine in
Is
March.
this like
I'll be
Jack
fine.
Club
That's what I
tournament?
said.
These guys fish.
They do.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
they fish. They fish.
No, these guys fish.
Yeah, it ain't gonna be easy. It ain't.
It's one of
gonna
them
be
East Texas clubs. It's like,
Yeah.
old dude shows up at the John boat, comes up to scale
Well,
27.
we had a group of guys at Brandy Branch last week. They came from Eagle Mountain somewhere up there.
Yeah.
And came all the way down there to fish Brandy Branch.
No, these are some of these old East Texas homeboys that run around in their John boats and catch 25 pounds every day.
Dude,
Yeah, probably
Houston
20
Carroll.
people.
Houston Carroll shows up to Lake Tyler jackpot tournament last 2 Saturdays ago. Hadn't fished it in almost a year. Shows up and catches a freaking 7-pounder like his second cast.
That's just luck.
He got second in that too. It was a 3-fish tournament, and he had, what did he have?
He had almost 13 pounds.
13 pounds on 3 fish.
took 17.
And he lost an 8-pounder at the boat.
Dude, I'm gonna tell you right now,
And
Houston
his-
show up in that little.
His
in that
other
little
fish was a
flat
2-pounder. He would have had like 18 pounds on 3
Dude.
fish.
Houston,
He's good.
Houston is good.
He's real good.
He shows up in that day. He calls it the tin can.
He's a little aluminum boat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He's,
Probably a duck hunting boat too.
well, he takes it fishing, dude.
Little
I'm
bass
telling you.
tracker.
He shows up, and one guy was like, "What tournament's he fishing?" I said, "Hopefully not the one you're fishing, because that boy will jack him on this pond." Dude, I promise you.
He is good on Lake Tyler. There's no doubt. I just don't know that his game travels real well yet.
Hopefully he's better than his fancy football.
Shots
I
fired.
didn't even think about that. Austin is
I
in
just
this.
thought of that.
We are all in the same fantasy football league with this guy we're
Dude,
talking
you
about.
should tell that story.
Which one? There's a lot of
football-
fantasy football
no.
stories we can't tell.
No, the championship
The championship
this
game.
year. How crazy that was.
Yeah, that was insane. Yeah, we can do that. Yeah, we can tell it. We can tell.
That
the
was
fantasy
pretty
football.
tame.
Yes, we can tell that one. That was good. So, fantasy football comes down, and the championship was between Austin Fowler and Houston Carroll, the guy we were just talking about. They were in the championship game. Mm-hmm. Yes, I finished third. I suck. I know.
Because I beat. I heard you beat your butt.
Yeah, you beat me in the semis. You did. You beat me in the semis.
After dominating all year.
And he won't say it now, but he knows that he got lucky as hell to beat me. Yeah, so he will admit it. It's so bad that he will admit it.
He got lucky to win the dang
I know.
the league.
The whole, and I kept talking about how trash my team was too. Like I just kept being lucky every week they would have the best week of their lives. Like I would either had the most points of the year, or the week that week, or I'd have,
Or you wouldn't bust 60.
or I'd have losing a
Roller
freaking,
coaster ride. Very inconsistent.
Yeah, I'll lose a special K and then beat Billy.
So Fowler sneaks into the playoffs and gets all the way to the championship game, and it's him and Houston. Houston's team's been pretty good all year. Houston's teams are pretty good every year. He's a good fantasy football player.
Yeah, he'll draft 4 quarterbacks.
We get down to the end of the game. We're down to the end of the game, and there's just a couple players left, and this is it. Like, this is the Sunday afternoon game. Nobody has a Sunday night player. Nobody has a Monday night player. So this is for all the marbles. And we're in the last few minutes of these two games, and Houston had the San Francisco defense, okay, and Austin had Todd Gurley,
And Austin Hooper.
which doesn't matter for this story. So thanks for adding that. There's no.
Well,
no
I
value.
thought it did.
No.
Did it not?
No, Hooper. No.
Yes,
He caught a
it did.
touchdown.
Hooper
No.
caught a touchdown.
No.
But it was your defense.
It was Hooper caught it
Stop.
against San Francisco.
Who's driving this train?
Okay, go ahead. You're screwing it all up.
Hooper did not affect this deal. I promise you did. All right.
Pull it back up right now.
Okay. So we're down to like a few minutes left, and Houston's been winning this game all day. And literally with just like 2 minutes left in each game, I look at Austin, and I'm the commissioner of the football league, so I do all the stuff. So I looked at Austin, and it was over. I mean, it was over.
Yeah.
Done. The games were about to end. It was over.
Fat lady was taking the stage. Yeah.
Yeah, and the Cowboys game wasn't even competitive. And so we're like, oh, it's done. Gurley's probably not even going to touch the ball again. I walk up to Austin and I say, hey, man, just so we can wrap this up and get everybody out of here, because we were all over in Dallas at a party for the championship. I said, just so we can wrap this up and get out of here, do you go ahead and concede the championship?
He peer pressured me.
And I didn't peer pressure nothing. I said, hey, do you concede? He's like, yeah, dude, it's done. I concede. He went right along with it. So we do the trophy presentation. I write Houston's name on the ball, on the championship trophy.
Give him the money.
Dude, we go get a cooler full of water to dunk Houston in water. Zach spills the cooler of water, so I just fill up a cup and throw it at Houston. Get Houston a little bit wet, not all the way wet.
And he's celebrating because he's always been second place.
He's been second place so many times. He's celebrating. He's woohooing and all this.
And then I said, hey, y'all might want to look at something.
We turn around and look. The Cowboys break a long touchdown. St. Louis gets or Los Angeles Rams, Gurley gets the ball back, and all of a sudden they start throwing checkdowns to Gurley.
All the trash plays. They're getting garbage plays.
We're watching these trash plays, these garbage plays, and checkdowns to Gurley like a hawk.
And he's
we're like,
diving it.
We're like, oh, God, he's only 2 points behind him.
Yeah.
He's 2.7 points behind him. And we're watching the scoreboard, and it's just ticking away. And the Rams get down there and score a touchdown. And Gurley does not, he left you like 1 point short.
Yeah,
point
0.7.
0.7 is what it was. What I thought it was 0.7 points short of beating Houston. Gurley's out. So we're like,
Cowboys are needing it.
disaster averted. Houston did win, whatever. All of a sudden, somebody on their phone goes, hey, Atlanta just scored a touchdown. And he goes, who's it to? Not Austin Hooper. It's not Austin Hooper, because that's what we said. And now, wait a minute. Houston has San Francisco's defense.
Yep.
And those points that Atlanta scored made his defense drop down a couple points, which then gave Austin the victory. And at that point, we didn't know what to do, so we started doing the trophy. And kudos to my boy Zach Watts, who was hosting the party over there at his house, because he has this giant bowl. It's dog water. You got dog water. This giant bowl that he lets his dogs drink out of. When I say giant, folks, we're talking about you can't
Like
wrap
the
your
size of this couch.
You can't wrap your hands all the way around the rim of this bowl like you're hugging it.
Yeah.
And I bring Austin in real close for a hug, like, hey, bro, congratulations. And then I push him away from me, and as I do, Zach is right behind him and just doused him with water like he was.
Oh, he just grabbed it from the floor and just went full on
man.
to the front. I mean, it wasn't like on my shoulders.
The entire back deck was covered in water by the time it was done.
That was crazy.
And I think Houston was upset a little bit.
I'll be honest, I'm surprised he's still here.
We had to put him on suicide watch.
We did have to put him on suicide watch. We sure did.
Dude, so we were both driving home, and he called me, and he's like, man, can you believe that crap? And I was like, dude, that was wild. He was just stewing over it all the way back
That was
to
the
Canton.
most epic finish to a fantasy football season I have ever seen in my life. Just the way it all shook out. And I'm sure these people that tune in for fishing have tuned out by now, but if you're into fantasy football, that was some crazy stuff right there.
Yeah.
Good times.
Good freaking times. Well, Fowler, man, hey, dude, thank you for joining us on the 2-point whatever version of the Fish Lyfe podcast. We appreciate you coming and hanging out with us, man. You gotta if you had too much to drink tonight, can you make it all the way?
I'm sure. I about broke my ankle in the freaking potholes on the way over here, walking over here.
We got this old private road we live on out here. We ain't got no city maintenance on that sucker.
Hell, I couldn't pick you up.
Well, you'll do piggyback him over here across the yard?
Hey, just jump on tailgate.
Man, it's been a good time, dude. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Chris,
Man.
thanks as always.
Because a few days ago, we just launched the boat and just tried the boat across the
did have-
That ain't no lie.
I was flipping off my porch a couple days ago when it was raining like that.
Dude.
No doubt. No doubt. What you got, Chris?
I need to go pre-fish Palestine right now.
You need to go pre-fish so you don't have to wear some type of weird outfit. Y'all please keep dropping comments. We need punishments for Chris if he doesn't win tournament that he said he was going to win on his home lake. Don't let him lie to you. Off camera, he told me he was going to win it. He did. That's the only reason it came up in the first place. So give us some good punishments for this cocky sucker.
No.
Just no. Chris, hit him with your move on 3, 2, 1.
Bazinga!